Hi, and welcome to the Inalwala community. Today, we're going to be talking about something that affects 265 million people annually globally. And out of these 265 million people, we lose 1 million people to suicide every year. Depression is something that's as real as heart disease, asthma, and diabetes. Yet, especially in India, it's something we love to sweep under the carpet and just not acknowledge as such. My next guest is someone who I admire greatly for the presence of mind with which she and her loved ones dealt with her condition. And she's here today to share with us her journey, which started 7 to 8 years ago. Please join me in welcoming into our conversation today the beautiful and the brave Sadaf Razak. Hi, Sadaf, and welcome to the Inalwala community. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am nervous, but I think I'm more excited about this.
Sadaf, you come across, and I've known you since 2017 now, you come across as this confident, no-nonsense, outgoing, girl power kind of woman. So I want to start with, we all have a typical perception. This is a part of the problem where we have a perception of someone who would be undergoing depression or could be prone to depression or is a depressed person. You are nothing like any of those typical perceptions. You are this ball of energy, which is everything they tell us is against the concept of depression, right? But I only see you when you're in public. Tell us more about how your life has been and about your privileges and how privilege really has nothing to do with mental health.
Oh, privilege has absolutely nothing to do with mental health. If someone were to ask me who I am, I'd just say I'm a lot of fun,
Which is true.
And that is why even today, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but even today when I'm at my lowest low, I don't think anyone outside of this home is going to know about it. Not a lot of people know that I have clinical depression and I am on meds for the last 7 years or so, and I do have a lot of panic attacks. So unfortunately for me, when I'm ill, like when I'm like really ill, when I have like a flu or something, I will still go to work and people will not be able to tell that I'm sick. It's just always been the case, Similarly, when I'm at my lowest low, people cannot tell that something's on with her, except I think my husband. We live in the same house and he's been the one person who always understood. I grew up in Goa. Touchwood, I have a very loving family, doting parents, two beautiful, beautiful younger sisters. Even I couldn't imagine that, something like this would ever happen to me. And until today, me or my doctors or my counselors haven't really been able to put a finger on what triggered it.
Right. Which brings me to my next question, was something you touched on just 2 minutes ago. When was the first time that you felt like something was maybe not in place?
See, I'll tell you what, like I said, I grew up in Goa.
Right.
But when I got married and moved to Bangalore, it was too much newness, New city, new home, new family, new people, new roads, and new food.
Right.
I think, and this hasn't been confirmed, I had this one job. It was an owner-driven organization, and I joined there. To handle PR, and work-wise, learning-wise, very, very nourishing to the mind. But it came with a lot of pressure. I had a boss who was supremely unrealistic, who went to the extent of once saying that anybody I pay should be available at my beck and call.
Unacceptable.
And that didn't sit too well with me, among a lot of things. And so I remember I boarded a flight to Bombay for some fashion week thing, and I just couldn't breathe. It is a 1.5 hour flight from Bangalore to Bombay. All of the cabin crew were with me and trying to calm me down. I just couldn't stop crying. I couldn't breathe. And for somebody who's been flying forever, so to suddenly feel like that was like, okay, something is seriously wrong. And I remember I got back on the 31st of December. 2nd Jan, without telling anybody, not even my husband, I just told the driver, start the car, take me to this place, this hospital in Jayanagar where this doctor was consulting. I'd made an appointment. I went and saw him, spoke to him for like a good 45 minutes, told him what I'm feeling, because there's only that much I could tell him, because then I didn't know nothing. And that's when he said that you have severe anxiety and you are clinically depressed. I got out of the hospital and I went straight to my husband's office and I told him what had happened. And my husband is, I think, one of the calmest and most patient human beings I've ever met. So he was like, all right, I'm glad you did this. We know what it is. Let's work towards fixing it. That's it. It was there was not like, oh my God, how could this happen to you? And no, this can't be you. Look at you. This is you we're talking about. Because this was the exact reaction I got from the very few people I later opened up to, but not from my husband.
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful.
He somehow always knows the right things to say. And when I have my moments, what I need to hear are the right things. Maybe I sometimes need them to be sugar-coated a little at that point in time. And I think he's got the knack of it now. So that was exactly what happened. Yeah.
And then how did other people in your circle react to the news?
So there were a lot of instances that took place even before I was actually diagnosed. I've had episodes where I'm crying. I've broken things. I've felt suicidal. Unfortunately, nobody ever saw them except my husband. I remember my mom, and I love her to bits, okay? She's a friend. She's not a mom. She's a friend. And there were things that happened, and I called her, and I was crying, and she was like, but this is not my daughter. You were never like this. You were always so full of life, you know? Maybe not the exact words, but this is what she said. I don't believe this. So I don't know if she was in denial or it was the lack of awareness.
I totally get it. And that's the difference between somebody from her generation and somebody like your husband. I'm wondering if your husband had any prior experience with mental health that he dealt with it so beautifully, because I was just thinking about it. I said, oh, how beautiful, but it should be, oh, how normal. You know, it should be the normal way of dealing with it. But I'm wondering if he had any prior experience to dealing with it.
So with him, yes, there was awareness. I think he did know people. I'm not sure how often he had to deal with them, but the understanding, like even now, though I'm in a much, much, much better space, touch wood, mentally and life-wise than I was back in the day. But I do have my days, because when I'm over it and when I look back and reflect, because when you go to counseling, I think they kind of imbibe this in you, that you've got to sit down and reflect, because if you want to get better, you need to know what you're doing wrong. So when I sit down and reflect, the patience the care that he, kind of portrayed when dealing with me was amazing. So yeah, he did know. So the awareness was there, luckily for me. But as much as I know, the man had the awareness also not been there, he would have done his research and he would have been exactly how he has been. So, yeah.
Understand. And what is the process or the experience in seeking professional mental health help or therapy in India?
I'd say decent. So there's a difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist,
Right.
also a counselor. A psychiatrist can prescribe medication, which in my case was very, very, very important. I've been on medication for depression since 7 years now. And I get on medication for anxiety on and off on an SOS basis. So I'm not sure if the psychiatrist is equipped to actually talk to you and make conversation with you or comfort you, right? I did not know that initially. Again, lack of awareness. But the psychiatrist himself told me that I need to see a counselor, right? I was lucky enough. I found a counselor here in Bangalore who did wonders for me, like wonders for me. Counselors, I think from my experience, it's definitely not one size fits all.
Right.
You've got to do your testing, meeting people. Yes, it is a little bit of an investment, but you're investing in yourself. So I think it's got to be worth it.
Absolutely. It's a huge investment that I feel like everybody should make, right? It's just, you don't have to be diagnosed with clinical depression or anxiety to need therapy. I believe all of us need therapy.
Need therapy. Yes, yes, absolutely.
But in your experience, you've been going for therapy for a while now, for a couple of years. How is it easy? Is it something you need to hide? Is it something you need to, be discreet about? How does it affect your workplace? What is the experience of actually doing what you need to do to take care of your mental health in India?
I particularly like that question because I would book slots with my therapist for 4 weeks straight every Saturday. Because I personally was not comfortable telling my boss that, hey, I will be in late because...
Right.
And another thing, I am the worst liar. Okay?
Not me.
I am the worst liar. So I have realized no matter how badly I have messed up, just own up. Because the person in front of me, whether he or she knows me or not, is going to read right through my lies. So in order to avoid a situation like that, I used to book my sessions on weekends. Also, I have heard people say, not to me, but I think growing up, oh, she has to go to a psychiatrist, she's crazy. अच्छा वो तो पागल है, वो डॉक्टर के पास जाता है. So it's always been mental health or seeing a psychiatrist or a counselor is equal to he or she is crazy. So, and for me, for someone who has always been so in control, someone who has been, I don't know how I became one, but I have been an agony aunt since school. I sound like I am the most sorted person when I'm giving advice, and I give advice so often. I think I'm that person who likes to be there for everybody. My friends, my sisters, my dad even. So the fact that, oh, this is this girl who everybody leans on for support, somebody who's always been there, is now having to go to a counselor, I think I have those thoughts because of the general attitude of the society that I have grown up in towards somebody with this condition, towards anybody who has to see a psychiatrist for anything.
Absolutely.
Let's just leave it at that. So yes, there was a lot of discomfort. There was a lot of secrecy. I think until this thing ends, there's been a lot of secrecy because I think I'm not sure if I like it. I'm just used to being that person who's always there for everybody.
This is just the way we think in India, right? We think that seeking any kind of help is a sign of weakness, and we don't want to air our dirty laundry in public, or we don't want to show our vulnerability. Sorry, go
Absolutely. ahead. No. Air out the dirty laundry.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've got that one. Yeah.
As someone who goes for therapy, and I've done the same thing, okay? I've said to maybe people that I felt did not need to know that I'm in a meeting, Friday 9 to 10, I'm in a meeting, right? But I'm at my therapist's office. Why do I feel the need to do this? Why do any of us feel the need to do it? I think it should be as normal as women above 30 going for a breast checkup,
Absolutely.
or for like a pap smear. It's just
absolutely.
It's a maintenance ritual.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. It absolutely is.
I guess for things that we wish people would do, I guess sometimes we have to educate them by being more open about this. So thank you so much for talking to us about this, and thank you so much for just showing us all that if you speak your truth, more people feel less alone and people feel validated. There's no need for validation here. Mental health and taking care of your mental health is perfectly normal. But when more of us do it and talk about it, we don't feel ostracized.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So on that note, what do you feel are like some of the biggest myths with regard to mental health in India?
Firstly, people who have either depression, clinical depression, or anxiety, or are even bipolar, are not crazy. Because if they are crazy, anybody with diabetes is crazy, anybody with cancer is crazy, anybody with HIV is crazy. For God's sake, anybody with arthritis is crazy.
True.
So if you can have that and it's okay, even this is just another that.
Right.
So we've got to put this out there first. That's one thing. Second, I have a major issue with how people use the term depressed so loosely. Dude, I went to that restaurant and the food sucked. I'm so depressed. And unfortunately, because I don't talk about this so openly, I can't say anything, but I genuinely laugh. And I'm also feeling bad at the same time because I encounter this a lot. Like, oh my God, my nail broke. I'm depressed.
Terminology, yeah.
Don't, because you don't say like, oh my God, I broke my nail. I've got the cancer. You don't say that, right? I'm sorry I'm putting it out there like this. It's a little harsh, I know. But I think people need to know, and if this helps them understand, so be it. Don't use the term so loosely. It's not cool. Also, here in India, I think, like you actually touched upon this. In India, mental health is not a thing. We are completely okay with working extra hours. We are okay with working on the weekend. A lot of us have no work-life balance, and that is just life for us. We don't take the time to do us.
Right.
We don't take the time to sit down, reflect. Is not really a priority. That's what I believe from what I've seen. That is sad. And there's another thing. When you open up to people about your condition, First of all, get this. It takes a lot for me to talk to you about what I'm going through. I am not doing that because I need sympathy from you. No, I just need you to be a little mindful when you're around me. Just a little bit. Because that is contributing to my process of trying to get better. Right? I'm already dealing with a tsunami in my head. And I probably do not want you to feature in that tsunami, which is why I have had the courage or built the courage to come and tell you, don't behave like that conversation never happened, because it happened for a reason. I need you to be a little humane. People don't do that, and I'm talking out of personal experience. And I think that is another factor that has kept me from not talking about this for the longest time. Like, it's as simple as this, right? Instagram. You put a picture of you vacationing somewhere in a swimsuit on a yacht. Oh my God, the number of likes, insane. But you actually put a quote on mental health. Nobody engages with you. And I'm sorry, I'm probably saying this because it's social media as part of my job and I'm always on the lookout and I monitor things. But that also makes for an example to understand how much people care.
But are people scared to broach the topic? Are they scared to even, approach it with you? How do people react to this as a topic?
It's a mix. I'm fortunate to have a few people in my life, few very close friends and my family who maybe took some time, or some of them immediately acknowledged it, were very supportive from get-go. There were a few others who actually said, oh my God, this is drama.
Gaslighting.
I do not wish this for anybody because it's not a pleasant space to be in, right? So don't react to this like that. Realize that I am actually just opening up is a struggle. You know that, right? So if I've opened up to you, don't say drama, because it's not drama. I mean, touch wood, I've been privileged enough to be surrounded by people who love me. In school, I was loved by my teacher, at work, by, colleagues, managers. I've always gotten the love and attention. I wouldn't do something like this to get attention. You know what I mean? And like I said, again, this is just me. I'm talking about me. And no way in hell will I take meds for 8 years straight every night.
Right. Just
to keep the drama alive. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've heard drama. Not from too many people and not exactly in that way. I've found more support than people saying something like that. Yes, I've had one or two people who've just wanted to brush it under the carpet and behave like we've never had this conversation.
I feel like as a society, we're just so willing to put a label to things, and the labels come from what we know, and we don't know much about mental health in India as of now. So these labels tend to be really ridiculous at times. One of the most common labels that I hear is when someone considers suicide or is suicidal or has suicidal thoughts. The first label that we begin to hear is, don't be selfish. Think of your parents. How can you give up so easily? You have to be stronger. What would you like to say to people who have suicidal thoughts, who constantly hear judgment on it, as opposed to any form of wanting to understand where this comes from?
For me, this one's been a tell-all, so I'm not going to have it any other way at this point. I've been in that situation quite a few times myself. Sometimes I've had the support of my husband, because like I said, he's the only one who lives with me, right? But sometimes I've been alone. I've actually Googled ways to do it,
Right.
to make it painless, because my threshold for pain is like so low. But I think what I want to tell people who have these thoughts would be, don't be impulsive. Sit down and think about you, right? Everything else comes later.
Right.
And I firmly believe that there is nothing that cannot be fixed. You just need to invest some time and some thought in thinking about how you're going to fix it. Easier said than done, I know, but not impossible to do, right? You only live once. This ain't coming back, right? So you've got to think whether, okay, I've had absolutely enough, or maybe there are 10,000 things I've overcome already. There are 10,000 moments where I was exactly where I am today, and I kind of beat those moments and I'm here today. Can this be another one of those moments? And more often than not, the answer is yes, because like I said, nobody and nothing is worth it. You've got to do you, and you've got to do you all the time. Because if you're not happy, you're not going to be able to keep your parents happy. You're not going to be able to keep your family happy. Your friends won't want to hang out with you. So you have got to be your focus. And I think in this matter, being selfish is a good way to be. Because what's the point otherwise?
Right.
So think it's that moment, right? And if you have that little power left in your head to be able to actually reflect and think in that moment, I'm pretty positive a lot of people will change their minds. Because I have. Yeah. And for me as well, the first thing I worry about, and I think the only thing I worry about is my parents. Because, oh my God, what will happen to them, right? That is my moment. But that is me. For somebody else, it could be something else. And then if you look at it, also thinking about the parents is being selfish. Because the thought of them being so unhappy is going to drive me crazy. So ultimately, I think I'm still doing that for me, because I will not be okay with even knowing that my parents are that uncomfortable or that unhappy.
Right.
So I think just getting a little control on your head, sitting down, analyzing your situation and thinking helps. I wouldn't say should help, helps because it's helped me. Yeah.
That is so powerful. That is so powerful. And this is priceless advice, because we're in the middle of a lockdown. A lot of people don't have access to help, to
Yeah.
therapy that they used to.
Yeah.
Not everyone is, available online. And I
True.
know that this is a rising concern. The WHO is saying that we should now, be prepared for a pandemic of mental health, something to do,
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is priceless information. This
Thank
is why
you.
we wanted to talk to you, so that even one person out there sitting there considering this can just hear what you have to say and give it a bit of time to think.
Yeah.
Speaking
Absolutely.
of that, how are you? Where are you in your journey today?
Okay. Like I said earlier, I believe I am so much better today than I was 7, 8 years ago. I am more self-aware. So now when I'm going to have a downer phase, I know that's where I'm headed. And for me, that is a huge achievement. So I will automatically distance myself from people so that I don't create a situation that is uncomfortable or I'll regret later. I am more aware of my thoughts. Yes, I do have my highs and my lows. I think that has become a part of my life. But overall, I'm a happy girl. And I have craved so many years to be able to say that. Not everything is perfect, but it isn't for anybody. I mean, what would life be if it were perfect, you know? So, yes, there are ups and downs, highs and lows, good days, bad days, sometimes a spat of bad days. But I think all the therapy, the medication has helped me, be slightly in control of my bad days, my mood swings. So yeah, I think I'm a lot better today, but it's been a journey, huh? 7 years, 8 years is a decent amount of time. Taking that pill every night. Sometimes you're like, oh, why, But I think not giving up. Oh, mind you, I have given up. There have been times where I'm like, I can't do this. I can't deal with it and everything. And shit's almost hit the fan. And then I found myself back in my doctor's office. But then again, the decision to go back to the doctor's office has been mine.
Right.
Right? I've not had anybody tell me, oh, I think it's time you see your doctor.
Right.
So it's been all me that way, right? So much better now. But yes, I think if I were to give anybody any advice on this, it would just be as simple as don't give up and invest in your mental health. Go see that counselor, go see that psychiatrist. That feeling, when the doctor tells you, hey, you can be off your meds for some time is so liberating. It's such a happy feeling. So, and these are your milestones, right, of your personal journey. So, yeah, that's how it is. It's been all right, but I think it's made me more aware. It's made me patient a little. I'm still working on that. And I think more aware and patient. Yeah.
Sadaf, thank you so much. Before we leave, is there any one thing you'd like to say to someone stuck in the lockdown, going through extreme anxiety or panic attacks, or just really, low days? Any last words of advice?
See, the lockdown has been hard, okay? It has been supremely hard, especially for people living alone or living with their families and feeling alone at the same time. I just say, find something that puts your mind to rest. Find something that allows you to do just that and not think about anything else. Yes, there's only that much time you can do those things for, but even that is valuable. You know what I mean? So do whatever you think makes you happy, because I think in times like these, even those couple of hours of happiness can take you through a day or 2 days, right? And that's just my opinion.
Thank you so much for doing this. We have learned so much. Thank you for doing this service to everyone. So
thank you for giving me the opportunity, to be of service to people out there, people who are struggling, people who have no clue what's happening to them. There are not so many platforms today that allow you to speak about something like this, and I am so proud that what started as an idea in that beautiful mind has actually seen the light of day and has received such an overwhelming response. And I honestly think while talking about our personal issues and journeys takes guts, to be able to actually start a movement that encourages people to come out and talk takes a lot of guts as well. So I am so proud of you. I am so proud of Ina to be able to give people a platform to talk and people a platform to learn from and understand that, hey, it is okay to feel the way I'm feeling. So lots of love to you, to Ina, and my best wishes. I hope you get a lot of other people to talk, because that's what we need, communication. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being a part of this.
Lots of love to you.